This is the Randi Rhodes Show on 960 KNEW and online at 960KNEW.com.
Here's today's talking point from your official guide to being a good Republican. Repeat after me. Let's not make any tragic mistakes. Look, I know you don't like hearing this guy, but let's just take a quick listen in terms of how he approaches a fresh, and here's the buzzword, a fresh tragedy.
We will find out who did this. We'll find out why they did this.
It's hard to find fault with that, and I'm sorry for it, because I know for more than a few of you, finding fault with that is how you make your living, and you're having a difficult time of it. Compare that with this response to what the president said.
But he made one mistake. The president called the attack a tragedy. It was not. It was a vile act of violence designed to kill innocent people, including children.
You're setting up a false dichotomy here between an act of violence and a tragedy. And no, dichotomy is not a village in India. There's quite a bit of overlap. An act of violence can be tragic, and quite often it is. It's a great tragedy as opposed to a little tragedy, like, say, reiterating a dumb statement.
It's not a tragedy. I mean, these are well thought out military campaigns directed against civilians. This is what the Nazis did.
Okay, you just said the Holocaust was not tragic because it was well planned. It's still a tragedy. Should newscasters have broken into regular programming yesterday to announce there has been a well-thought-out military campaign in Boston today? Your statement was a tragedy by your own definition, because it certainly wasn't well thought out. And that's today's talking point that you don't need to repeat after me from the official guide to being a good Republican.
I'll tell you what a little tragedy is. A little tragedy is Bill O'Reilly. That's a little tragedy. Just trying to survive the media landscape in this country is a tragedy. Just, that it exists, that you've got everything from nutbags to people who are exploiting everything for political gain, to conspiracy theorists, to paranoids, to lunatic preachers like Pat Robertson. That's the little tragedy. The large tragedy is what happened yesterday. That was a large tragic event, a big tragic event. Comparing this to Nazis or downshifting into it was Bill Ayers as Rush Limbaugh did, or the government is the prime suspect as Alex Jones says.
Now, I had everybody from Glenn Beck to Salon to Media Matters to Media Light to BBC come out and attack us tonight.
That's right.
And say, how dare Alex Jones say the government could be involved? Now, Glenn Beck went further. He said, I said the government did it. When what I said was, they have done it over and over again. It's been declassified. And so we have to look at them as the prime suspects.
We have in this country hundreds and hundreds. I have 52 pages in front of me. Don't think I come to you empty-handed ever, because that would be stupid. Of terrorist attacks in this country dating back to 1837, when a pro-slavery mob killed Elijah Lovejoy, who was an abolitionist and editor of the Austin Observer. We had a Wall Street bombing plot that predates 9/11 by about 100 years. Holy crap, man. So much has happened on this soil and these lands. We've had assassinations of William McKinley. We've had Lincoln assassinated. By the way, for those of you who don't know, the Lincoln assassination was part of a giant conspiracy. You had Confederate supporters. You only know John Wilkes Booth's name, but there was Lewis Powell, there was George Atzrott, and they were all assigned assassinations. Booth was supposed to assassinate Lincoln. You had Powell, who was assigned to assassinate the vice president, Andrew Johnson. You had Atzrott, who was supposed to assassinate the Secretary of State, William Seward, in Washington. They wanted to create chaos for the purpose of overthrowing the federal government. Well, Booth succeeded, so you know his name, at the Ford Theater. Seward was stabbed by Powell numerous times, but Vice President Seward survived. And Atzrott, he was a coward. He failed to carry out the murder of Johnson. Booth was killed by soldiers, but 8 conspirators were tried and convicted for their role in the conspiracy by a military tribunal.